Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 132 of Be With Me. We are finishing a section on anger. I told you yesterday you wouldn't like yesterday's episode, and again, you're not going to like this one either, because the Lord does a couple things. He equates anger with murder, so that's no fun, and then judgment and liability. And here today, we're going to find out that not only are we liable to God, but we're liable to our brothers, and our relationship with our brothers can affect our relationship with God. Listen in. This is from the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:21. You have heard it said of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you, so this is where Jesus takes the authority, interprets the Ten Commandments, that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says, you fool, will be liable to the hell of fire. So, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First, be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison. Truly, I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. So we find here today that the Lord is saying we have a liability to our brothers, and if so, it can spill over and we can have a liability to God. That is, if we are in a stuck relationship of anger with your brother, that is, we have a stuck human relationship, that we can have a stuck relationship with God. So Romans 12:18 says, if possible, as far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. So I understand that anger and broken contracts and broken relationships can be a two-way street, but we don't find out about the other side of the street here. The Lord is focusing on your side of the street, my side of the street here. So if you are angry, if you insult, if you use names, you are liable. I am liable. And stuck human relationships can result in a stuck relationship with God. In fact, he says, stop worshiping, at least stop doing bad worship, and go fix this with your brother. So think about this. Let's say you're God, and you know that there is one of your people who has a dispute with his a brother. Let's say two Christians, and they result in anger and name-calling and bad stories about each other. You, as God, view this not just as anger. It says here in the Word that the Lord equates this with murder. Think about that. So the God sees that these two guys in his church are murderers. And they're boldly coming and saying, well, I'm going to give my tithe and offering, and I'm going to give my act of worship. And the Lord said, whoa. You're murderers. You got to fix the murder part before I want your gift of worship. So he knows this is detrimental to you, and he knows that this is detrimental to the church. So he says, he impresses on your heart, he reveals his will to you and says, go fix this. That's what this passage says. Stop what you're doing in the church. Stop taking care of the 2-year-olds. Stop coming to worship and fix your real problem, which is murder. So let's say I get that impression on me, and I say, nah, I don't think so. And I start to knowingly disobey the Lord's call. So no wonder my relationship with the Lord could be stuck. Don't you think it's presumptuous of us to say, I'm just going to hold that place of anger with that one guy. I'm going to hold it over, and I'm not going to let the Lord be Lord of that. Well, when's the next thing that the Lord's going to impress on you? I think he's going to just keep saying, wait, I want you to fix your murder problem. That's why you may have a problem with me. I don't want you to worship me. There's a higher priority. At least I don't want your bad worship. I want you to go fix this issue with your brother. So stuck human relationships can, and I think by definition, will result in a stuck relationship with God. That's what this passage seems to be saying. And the Lord says, how high of a priority is it? It's higher than worship? Well, it's certainly higher than bad worship. And our relationship with our brothers and sisters helps with our worship. So we can't say, I'm going to fix this area or decompartmentalize this area and not address this area. The Lord wants this area, our human relationships, our non-angered relationships, to be sacred, not sectioned off. So don't say that God doesn't care about our relationships. As far as it depends on me, let's work towards our relationships. Our human relationships are reflections of our worldview, that is our God view. And we don't have the luxury of saying is that Jesus is Lord of 11/12 of the slices of my life, but I'm going to keep this relationship area hostile. The Lord says, no, I don't even want to have your worship until you get this fixed. So I think we have to put on the eyes of God. The eyes of God doesn't say that, oh, this is a human, little contract dispute or something. He views it as murder. He views it as having murderer in his house. So he wants us to fix the murder problem before we come to worship. There's all kinds of, scary things in this passage about jail and punishment and judgment and court, and even hell is mentioned. So this is a pretty heavy area. So if your walk, so maybe you're saying, hey, my walk with God isn't going anywhere. Well, maybe there's a stuck relationship. There certainly seems to be a one-on-one relationship between a stuck relationship and a stuck relationship with humans and a stuck relationships with God. So have the courage maybe today, take home, hey, maybe Lord, reveal this to me. Obviously, worship is a high priority, but maybe we can't do it, or we certainly can't do it well if we're angry, i.e. murdering in the body. And maybe the Lord has requests that we fix this. We've said no. And so he doesn't want our worship until we go back and fix this. So just consider this area is all I'm saying. If you have a stuck relationship with the Lord, maybe you have a stuck human relationship. And if you have a stuck human relationship, the Lord views it more than just as angry. He says, you're breaking possibly one of the 10 commandments. And I want you to fix that first. And then let's have an open, unhindered relationship with each other. Thanks for considering it. You guys are brave. I'll see you tomorrow.